We often get caught in this bubble where you feel like you're not doing enough, or like somebody's doing better than you. Somebody set, for example, 10, 20 goals and they've achieved them mid-year, and for you, you've set like 4 goals and you've not even achieved one. So you get yourself in this bubble like, no, I'm not doing enough, I'm not good enough, and all of these things. Always remember that comparison is not reason. Everybody have their...
Why don't you first reflect on the things you tried to do in the past year and try to see where you failed, what makes you not
Remember
achieve.
that it's not about setting bigger goals. You know, we all set goals, and our goals are different.
The time you think about it that I am failing, that is exactly the time you start to fail. So always believe that you will have obstacles.
The meaning of a goal is not necessarily that it should be something bigger, you know. It is good to have bigger goals. However, hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Thinkers Think. And like you know, we are your amazing hosts. We want to begin by saying Happy New Year to all of you, and thank you again for all of you that were with us throughout the year 2024, watching, subscribing, sharing. Thank you so much for all of that. And yes.
Yeah, this is a new year, 2025. Like my co-host just said, I want to take the honor also to wish you all Happy New Year. And today is going to be fun. Today is, we're going to share 3 main points to help you achieve your New Year's resolution. Because people have their plans and their goals already, but we're here to elaborate on that of how to go about those plans.
Exactly. Yeah. And with that being said, guys, it is very common that people set goals when the year begins, but eventually when the year ends, they fail to achieve most of those. And I know you're out there, you might have experienced that, and maybe some of us right here might have experienced that as well. So it's not a new thing. However, I do believe that to every problem in life, there is a solution. So these are our 3 main solutions. The number 1 action that one should take when setting New Year resolutions is to, first of all, be honest. So our point number 1 would be being honest. So radical honesty, being honest about your limitations, your reality, the type of life you're living currently, and most of all, how much are you willing to achieve? What's your thoughts on that?
It's not about the goals you set, because everybody can set goals. You can set the unrealistic goals by, this year I want to become, just an example, I want to become a billionaire this year. Knowing your resources, knowing your limitations, knowing that it's difficult. It's not impossible,
but it's difficult because you're not being honest about who you are at that moment.
Yeah, like my co-host said, we have to set realistic goals.
Yeah.
So this thing of saying, this year I'm going to set goals, and when those goals are not
achieved, then you're the one that becomes disappointed.
Yeah, and you put a lot of pressure on yourself going forward to achieve those unrealistic goals you set for yourself.
Yeah. So. And with that being said, do you want to share our second point? Because now, you guys, I don't know if you are with us. However, the first point we believe upon setting New Year resolutions is about being honest. You know, like he said, you cannot say you want to be a billionaire by the end of the year when, for example, you have $0 in your bank account. It's very unrealistic. You're not being honest about who you are. Now, we are not saying it's impossible, but it's important to, first of all, recognize where am I in life before going ahead to set anything. So that's number 1. Be honest with who you are in terms of your limitations, potentials, and how much you're willing to achieve. So what's our point number 2?
The point number 2 here is to help you with professional insights of how you should go about to set your goals.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, just now, we said you have to set realistic goals. And in that aspect, you have to take into consideration your limitations and what you know you can do. So in my own understanding and way of seeing things, instead of you sitting and setting unrealistic goals for yourself, why don't you first reflect on the things you tried to do in the past year and try to see where you failed, what makes you not achieve
it,
those, because sometimes we set goals without even achieve the past year goals, that because this is like something that comes every year when the year turns, we set our goals. No, this is a new me, and you set your goals without even revisiting the past
what
goals.
What went wrong, what worked.
Exactly. Without even revisiting your past goals that you didn't achieve. So you kept piling goals, and it's become so much pressure on you. You don't even have a way out. You don't even know where to start.
I just want to add on what you said about goal setting. I think you said the most. But one thing also that people should not forget is that when you're goal setting, you have to always remember that it's not about setting bigger goals. You know, we all set goals, and our goals are different, right? The meaning of a goal is not necessarily that it should be something bigger, you know. It is good to have bigger goals. However, it's also good, like we said earlier, to be honest, you know.
Set a target.
Or set something that you know you will achieve, because part of goal setting is also about having a timeline, or like a, not schedule, like a target on when you're going to accomplish it. Mostly when you're like setting this your goals, you cannot just say, okay, I want to be a billionaire, and that's it. You're not working on it. You're not putting time to,
but
take the steps that you should take.
But let's say you're even working on it, because sometimes people feel like, okay, you set a goal and you want to work towards that. But what you should always remember is not to put yourself in a certain position where you have to pressure yourself to achieve a certain goal that you set for yourself.
I feel like, if I understand you well, it's about, obviously, when we set goals, it's also good to challenge ourselves in terms of
but that's the
leaving
purpose.
your comfort zone, but don't pressure
exactly
yourself
that's
too
the
much
purpose,
to
challenging yourself.
You set something you can't achieve.
One thing you should believe in setting goals or challenging yourself is that there are possibilities of you being failed.
Exactly.
Okay, so you have to learn how to fail first to achieve something, because you have to fall down many times to get up, to stand where you want.
However, I still feel like it's very important, regardless of the fact that obviously we fail, and when we fail we learn. It's also important to, like we just said, like coming back to the same thing over and over again. Set something that is realistic, something you will have a target, something you have like a timeline on how you're gonna go about it, and always remember that, you know what, I could fail.
Exactly.
And if I fail, then I will learn.
Because even you setting a big goal, setting a small goal, there is still tendencies
for you to
for failure.
But it's still important to
do
what.
But this is the thing about being being failed in something.
Like failing.
When the time you think about it that I am failing, that is exactly the time you start to fail. So always believe that you will have obstacles in your journey, because everybody does. Even the billionaires today we see, they have obstacles. Maybe they cannot come out and say it. Some come out and say it, but they have even bigger obstacles that they overcame to become
who they are today.
Exactly. So you are not an exception when setting your goals. You should expect that you will fall in those hurdles too.
However, it's very important to always keep your eyes
on your target.
And having your heads up, I would say.
Exactly. Like we're saying, when you realize that, okay, it's not going the way I want to go, what you should do is take a break, pause, look where you've come from, assess the journey through to that point, what you did wrong that made you not achieve what you set to achieve at that given time. And then if you're able to see where you fall, then you're able to adjust that side and move forward. It's not never going to be easy.
Exactly.
So you always have to know that in setting goals, you have to believe that there are times that it's going to be hard. But what makes you achieve what you've set for yourself is the perseverance and the will to want to go further to achieve what you've set to achieve.
Definitely. And then one last point on this point number 2, which is goal setting and how to go about it, is you always need to remember to be grateful, even for the small things, you know. It's very, very common that we often get caught in this bubble where you feel like you're not doing enough, or like somebody's doing better than you. Somebody set, for example, 10, 20 goals and they've achieved them mid-year, and for you, you've set like 4 goals and you've not even achieved one. So you get yourself in this bubble like, no, I'm not doing enough, I'm not good enough, and all of these things. Always remember that comparison is not reason. Everybody have their journey, and sometimes people be achieving things, but you don't know how they
Exactly.
achieve them.
That is
so focus
that
on
is
your
what I
own
want
journey.
to say.
Remember who you are, and that your journey is different from somebody else's journey.
Yeah.
So always be grateful, even for the small things. I love one quote that you usually say to me, and I feel like it inspires, and I really want you, the listener who is listening to this podcast today, to pick up from here. You have a habit of saying that it's very, very important whenever you are, like, you know, you are going through life, rather than looking up at the things you don't have, to always look at the things you have
achieved.
the things you have achieved that other people do not have.
Yeah.
Because every time you look at what you have that somebody doesn't have,
That gives you courage
the
to go
heart
forward.
of courage
Yeah.
and gratefulness and gratitude.
But if
to
you
want
look
to
at
go
those that
forward.
and forget
You will
about
get
where
stuck.
you've come, then that's
And
where
you will
the
not
problem
go
is.
and you'll not go further.
And yeah, just to buttress on what you were saying just now, the thing about about comparing yourself with someone else, we don't know how people achieve
What they achieve.
their goals.
Exactly.
You don't know how. Some people achieve their goals genuinely, some don't.
Definitely.
So you don't know that. So that's why your own competition should be yourself.
You today and you
your
yesterday.
Exactly. Reflect on what your yesterday was and what makes it not as successful as today, and work on that and try to make your today and your
Tomorrow
future become better.
Yeah.
But don't look at what other people are achieving or what they are doing, because we're all different.
True.
We all have our journeys. So focus on your own journey and don't allow the neighbor, the friend, or whoever that you're looking to distract you, because that is distraction. When you're in your journey trying to move forward, one thing you can't allow is distraction, because it's easy for you to be distracted. Maybe you embark on something, and say I embark on something, and you embark on the same thing, but you achieve that before me, and then I start to look, but we embark on this same journey together. Why does she have to achieve this and I don't? Then you start to beat yourself. No, everybody have their time in their journey. You have to focus on your own journey, because sometimes it comes slow. Some people are fortunate, it comes fast for them. But just focus on your own pace and your journey.
Yeah.
And leave the distraction aside.
Definitely.
That will help you.
Definitely. So with that being said, so gratefulness is another thing to think about when goal setting, to, take one step at a time, honestly. And for those who pray God and who are believers, who believe in God, I am a Christian myself, I can speak for that. It's also important to trust in God's timing.
Right.
For those who believe,
right.
In God and everything. And, when you're grateful, you also attract more and better, right? So that will take us to our third point. And our third point was to forget about the whole concept of New Year, New Me, but rather new day, new me. Having an action mindset that you take one day at a time, and if you need to change something, you change it, and you don't wait for the end of the year or a new year to set new goals, because very many people have that mentality. Like, for example, the year starts, they set goals, and immediately in the middle of the year they've not achieved as much, they leave,
Right. But that's the thing, like we were saying just now. I look at it because where we came from, people will wait when the year around, the New Year's, after New Year's Eve, there you'll see a lot of posts. This year I'll be this. This year is my year. Guys, we have to stop this. We have to stop this because, I mean, why do you have to wait for the year to roll for you to want to achieve something, for you to lay down your goals? Why do you have to? It has to be a daily thing.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting for the year to round and set a yearly goal when you don't know what in 3 months' time what's gonna be.
Happen.
Why don't you limit yourself to daily?
Exactly.
And say, no, today I'm going to achieve this. Set yourself. One time a teacher told me, usually students feel mathematics is the hardest subject. And there was a teacher that told me, no, mathematics is not the hardest subject, because mathematics is step. So if you're able to master every step,
then you're good. Yeah,
then mathematics become easy. But when you see a question or a problem,
and
what you think about is the answer you think about directly, then
that's a very good
you get a problem. So you have to start to think of the first step you take in solving the problem. So that is how life works also. Instead of you waiting for the year to round and say, this year is my year, this year is new me, put it on social media and say, last year I was this and this year I'm not going to take this. No. Doesn't work like that.
I know.
Take
one stage
at a time, and you will see how you will achieve your goals even faster than setting a yearly goal, which is unrealistic.
Definitely. And with that being said, guys, those are our 3 main points and advices that we ask you to reflect on, whether you've already set your New Year resolutions or whether you haven't set them. These are like very important 3 points to set, because you may ask yourselves, okay, who are we to sit down here and give you this advice? Well, personally, I would like to believe myself as somebody who is very optimistic, very ambitious in terms of everything I do. And with that being said, goal setting, being honest with myself and taking one day at a time is something I don't joke about. So just like you, I also sit down with a pen and a book to say, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that. However, I always put my mind back to the 3 points that we just shared right now. And every time it does help me, because when I sit at the end of the year, I see success. I see that I achieved this and I achieved that. And then you get to see that these things are working out. So whether you want to believe or you do not want to believe, these are things that do work. You just need to, first of all, believe in them. And then secondly, practice them, because it's not just about listening, but at the end of the day, trying to put these things in practice. And then you're going to see the fruits of whatever you've been practicing. So what are like your last words for...
like my co-host is saying here, we also are victims because we've set goals and we might not achieve them. It's not because we sit here telling you these things means that we've achieved our goal.
And
that's why we sit here.
the best person to talk about something in somebody that has experience.
Exactly. Instead of us, all of us, me, you, putting unrealistic goal for the year, new me. Why don't we just forget about the dates of those days that put? Because December 31, New Year's Eve, January 1st, they're just days. One day after the other. True. So why don't you just take away the date of those days and focus on the day?
Yeah, focus on growing.
On growing on the day. And forget about, this is 2025. It's a new me. And believe that this is another day that I should achieve something in the goals that I set for myself.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
So, guys, those are our 3 points. Number 1, be honest with yourself, with your current reality. Number 2, goal setting. Set realistic goals and remember to always have a mindset that it can fail, but you always have to stand up. And you have to be gratitude. You have to be grateful along the way. And do not forget that your journey is different from anybody else. So do not compare.
Focus on your journey.
Exactly. And then the last one is taking one day at a time.
Right.
Like my co-host just said, New Year is just the shift from one calendar time to the next one. It's nothing else.
Exactly.
You are the true problem, the true person that needs to change here.
You can make yourself a new you in the middle of the year.
Exactly. So your mentality.
It doesn't have to be when the year round. January 1st, all of a sudden you are a new person.
Definitely. So your mentality, your habits, and your lifestyle defines the new you, not the calendar times. With that being said, we're going to see you in our next podcast. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Exactly.
Yes, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye-bye.